All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're going to be really digging into Psalm 1.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's from the book of Psalms. It's
Yeah.
it's packed with such vivid imagery and timeless wisdom, you know. It's amazing how these ancient texts can still speak to us today, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like thousands of years later, they're still relevant. It's incredible.
So what do you think? What can we learn from Psalm 1? What can we actually take away from it and maybe even apply to our own lives?
Well, one of the things that jumps out at me is how it contrasts the righteous and the wicked. And it does it with such powerful imagery.
Yeah.
It's not just about good versus bad,
Right.
It's more like it's presenting two distinct paths, two ways of living, and they each have really different outcomes.
Yeah, it's almost like a visual poem, wouldn't you say?
Oh, total.
It's like you've got the righteous person, and they're depicted as this tree, and it's planted by these rivers of water.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, like when you see that, when you read that, what do those rivers represent to you?
Well, obviously, it's not talking about literal water, right?
Right.
It's got to be a metaphor. And
Uh-huh.
and when I think about it, I think about the sources of nourishment, strength in our lives, things that sustain us.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be your values, your relationships, could be things you're passionate about, even like your commitment to personal growth.
Right.
These are like the rivers that feed us, the things that help us thrive and flourish.
Okay, that makes total sense. So, like, if we're talking about this idea of being planted,
Yeah,
that suggests like being deeply rooted in those things.
exactly. Yeah, deeply.
Allowing those things to really kind of shape us and give us stability.
That's it. It's about drawing strength from what truly matters to us, and then you contrast that image, that beautiful image of the tree, with the way the wicked are depicted.
Yeah, the chaff.
The chaff, right.
Blown away.
Just like dry, weightless husks, just blown away by the wind.
It's such a stark contrast, isn't it? What feeling do you get when you read those words?
I don't know, it kind of makes me think about like how fleeting and how fragile life can feel sometimes, like
Yeah.
how easily we can just get kind of swept away by all the distractions or challenges if we're not really rooted in something.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, it really emphasizes that feeling of impermanence,
Yeah.
of a life that's just kind of disconnected from something meaningful, something to really anchor us.
Absolutely. Now, the psalm then goes on to talk about meditating on the law of the Lord day and night.
Right.
And I think, for some people, this idea of divine law, it might feel a bit outdated, maybe a little bit irrelevant to their lives.
Sure.
So how do you think we can connect that concept to our modern kind of secular world?
Well, I think you can think about it less literally and more about aligning your actions with your core values, with your own personal moral compass.
It's about intentionally choosing principles that are going to guide your decisions, right? And then actually taking the time to reflect on them regularly. What are the principles that are really guiding your choices? How are they shaping the path that you're on? And, it doesn't have to be like a rigid set of rules, carved in stone or anything.
Right.
It's more about just consciously living in accordance with what you really believe in, what you hold dear.
Right. So it's like almost like choosing like a North Star, to guide you,
Yeah.
and then constantly checking in to make sure that you're still heading in that direction.
Exactly.
And the psalm seems to suggest that kind of mindful living, that constant reflection, it actually leads to that flourishing, fruitful life that the tree represents.
You got it. It's all about intentionality and awareness. And, speaking of intentionality, the psalm really emphasizes that we actually have a choice in this.
Yeah.
You can choose the path of the righteous, or you can choose the path of the wicked.
And it doesn't sugarcoat it either.
No, not at all.
It acknowledges that, choosing the righteous path, it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful in a worldly sense or that you're going to, have this life that's free from struggles.
Oh, absolutely.
There's going to be challenges.
Life is hard no matter what path you choose, right?
Yeah.
But what it does promise, what the psalm really seems to highlight, is that deeper sense of purpose,
Yeah.
Like a life that has a lasting value and a meaning, even if it's not always easy or, super glamorous.
It's about finding that like inner strength and resilience.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Like that tree with those deep roots, that can weather any storm.
Yes, exactly.
So I guess if we were to kind of sum up the key takeaways from Psalm 1, it's really about finding what grounds us,
Yeah.
right? What gives us strength and purpose in life. And then intentionally reflecting on those things, letting them shape our choices and our actions. And ultimately, recognizing that we do have the power to choose our path.
We do.
Knowing that each path, it leads to different outcomes.
That's a great summary.
And on that note, I think it'd be interesting for everyone listening to consider this. If you were to write your own modern-day psalm, what values or what principles would you put at the very foundation of your way of the righteous?
Ooh.
It's something to think about. It's a question that, maybe we can all kind of contemplate as we go about our daily lives.
I love that.
Thanks for joining us on another deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you later.